Hello everyone, today we have an interesting build, but before we jump over into the deck explanation, I am live right now on twitch.tv/TLSG I would absolutely love to have you. You can always come back and finish the video later if you need to. But as far as the deck for today goes, this was created not by me, but a creator named Zombies Go Nom Nom. I'll leave a link to their socials in the description below. It is a buff stuff style of deck. Now, I know that Binks also posted a version of a buff stuff, but this one feels so good. Being able to have that surprising amount of power reach can be so surprising, and that is where it's going to shine. No, this can't usually match up against a Mr. Negative deck that hits their high roll. There are some decks that, you can't quite keep up if they hit their highest end of power. But where this deck really shines is being able to have a really surprising amount of burst with all of the buff that we are putting onto our cards in our hand. So if we buff up a Brood a couple of times with Gwenpool and we have a Galacta down, all of a sudden we're throwing like 21 power for 3 cost. And then maybe we also have a buffed up Captain Marvel on the board. Maybe we have a buffed up Sebastian Shaw, and we're pressuring multiple lanes with high power output. And so overall, the deck runs insanely well. It uses Psylocke and Zabu as ways to ramp or cheat into your 4-cost cards. And we're getting to the point where we have enough buff style 4-cost cards, or just good value 4-cost cards, that we can get away with running the Zabu, the Psylocke, and we're going to get some pretty good value from it most of the time. The main core of this deck is wanting to buff up your cards. So Brood, Mr. Sinister, Sebastian Shaw, Scarlet Spider, Captain Marvel all benefit from being buffed up, whether that be from Gwenpool, from Galacta, from Iron Lad into Gwenpool, into the follow-up Gwenpool next turn. We have a lot of ways to position a lot of surprising amounts of power onto the board, and I had an absolute blast running it. But we're going to keep the deck explanation relatively short, and before we jump over into any games, I'd like to introduce today's video sponsor, Marvel Contest of Champions. Marvel Contest of Champions is doing their biggest and most generous giveaway ever. In celebration of their 10-year anniversary, they're giving away 10 free champions for 10 days and much more. From December 10th through December 19th, log in each day by 4 p.m. Pacific time to claim a different free champion every day. This will lead up to a brand new champion release, Isophene, releasing on December 19th. As the living embodiment of the Battle Realm, Isophene brings a unique gameplay mechanic called the Fractured Power Bar. Marvel Contest of Champions has also started rolling out some exciting new features like the option for 60 frames per second to experience smoother and more responsive combat than ever before, summoner level cap increase up to level 70, mastery loadouts, and much more. Marvel Contest of Champions is also offering generous promo codes to help you on your journey. You can find the code on screen now. And just as a quick reminder, these codes can only be redeemed once per account, and if you redeemed one back in October, they won't work this time as it's the same promotion. Log in on December 24th for a special holiday gift based on your progression level. It has never been easier to acquire champions in the contest. With over 280 champions, you can now get your hands on all of your favorite superheroes, including Dazzler. Use my link in the description to download Marvel Contest of Champions now and join the contest. All right, next up we have Umalas. The first location is Muir Island. Beautiful. Even more beautiful than that is Psylocke into Galacta. So we're going to be able to get Galacta down on 3 into, like, I don't know, a Brood over in Muir Island. Or into a Gwenpool. Yeah, let's go ahead and heavily fill up this left lane, and then we'll go from there. So Fenris Wolf in a Thanos build is interesting. It's an interesting touch. Most of the time, Thanos builds kind of have an issue of space, and so interesting. Let's go with Galacta over to the left. We have our Iron Lad if we wanted to dig for like a Sebastian Shaw, a Scarlet Spider, and they snapped on us. Go ahead and snap back. They're probably snapping because they think we're Mr. Negative. We'll see. Oh, big Electro. What a weird Thanos build. Is it a Galactus Thanos? Interesting. Okay. So in that case, we need to watch out for Atlantis, I believe. Just in case. So what if we did Gwynpool to the left? I want to kind of avoid Black Vortex for now. In case they have a Shang-Chi. So Misery, retriggering Space Stone is nice. Could be a null, like a destroy Thanos build. Whoa, they have Angel? No way. They do take away Black Vortex. And so we're just gonna have to rely on our raw gut to win this one. So Gwynpool smacks Mr. Sinister a billion times here. So I'm gonna go Mr. Sinister. Will be 6, 7, 8, 9 doubled. And then do we ever play into this lane? I don't think we do. I think we're gonna finish it off with Zabu. And so blink to take the Reality Stone away into a big death. That's maybe relatively fine. Now, if they have, I don't know, you have Shadow King, that would be pretty detrimental to us. Captain Marvel at 8 power could rove over here if she needs to. I guess we could have Sebastian Shaw'd in the left lane last turn, couldn't we? Let's give this a shot. I don't know that it does it. That Living Tribunal difference is massive. That means we can't really compete over there at all. So let's go with Sebastian Shaw, which will get buffed up by 3 because of his ability. Captain Marvel here. We probably should have done Captain Marvel or Sebastian Shaw on the left last turn. So it could have gotten 2 buffs or 2 rounds of buffs. Alright, so double stack in mid. Killmonger, and then they revive our Zabu. Unfortunate. I was wondering if they might have something like that. And then Shang-Chi, no such luck, my friend. You have 21 power across the board. We have 33 in the left, 26 in mid. My goodness, what a cook Omalas has. We will gladly take the 8 cubes, keeping everything below that Shang-Chi range. Thankfully, let's go ahead and take it. We'll jump over into the next one. Next up, we have Mars, and we do have our opener of Psylocke into Galacta. The odds of that are not incredible, but into Zabu into a turn 3, Galacta into Psylocke into like an Iron Lad. We have several good hits with the Psylocke, and so let's go ahead and go. I'm gonna go Psylocke to the left, and then next turn we can go Galacta. Probably just directly play her into Astrodim, and then we can start buffing up whatever card we play from there. So the Brood, huge value. The Scarlet Spider, huge value. Anything we play from that point forward. All right, let's go with the Galacta. I'm just going to play it directly into Astrodim, and then we can see from there. We can always rip away Astrodim with like a Nocturne, but I think we're okay for now. So with Omega Red, we want to pretty highly pressure Astrodim, I think. Left in the deck, we have Copycat, which would be a bad pull for Iron Lad. We have Sebastian Shaw, which would be amazing. We have Mr. Sinister, also amazing. And then Zabu, or Gwynpool. If we hit Zabu, it's a complete dud. Let's go Scarlet Spider. 5, 6, 7, 8 in multiple lanes is huge. And then we'll see from there. Maybe if we do draw Mr. Sinister, we go like Nocturne or Mr. Sinister plus Nocturne to turn off Astrodim. But we'll see. The Red Guardian is rude. It is what it is. Maybe I need to start stacking the Psylocke and Galacta together. Would make some sense. The reason I didn't in this game is because of Astrodim. Woof. It's rough. Alright, so it is Copycat, which ends up hitting Cannonball, which is not awful for us. What if we were to go, I don't know, Iron Lad here? We could hit Sebastian Shaw, which wouldn't do anything for us. Mr. Sinister would be good. Gwynpool would be good. Zabu would be a complete waste. But we were going to see. So the Sarah comes down. Unfortunately, they do get a big Sarah discount. Generated from Coulson. Yeah, generated from Coulson. We do hit Gwynpool, so stack all onto the Brood, please. Well, one went onto the Brood. The others went onto Nocturne. So these are going to be the same... No, this is going to be 12 power output. Let's do... Is it ever Brood, Nocturne, Scarlet Spider? We could potentially win this one with 8 more. I think this is what we're going to go with, is Nocturne instead of the Cannonball. Because Cannonball is just going to push that power around, and I'm not sure that that gives us enough oomph to win. And so Nocturne, Brood... It does get afflicted by -1 each go around here. But hopefully that's fine. And so they go 1 mid into the Valkyrie line. Interestingly enough, we will win mid because Valkyrie's not going to be big enough for them. The big Mockingbird to the right, and then Punisher. Punisher is not going to be enough in the left. It's going to punish you, I think, for going... Oh no, it may be enough unless we get this... No, it's fine. It's fine. I was just kidding. The M'Baku. You gotta give him a fist bump. He can't do anything else. Let's go ahead and pretend that didn't happen. Let's jump over into the next one. Alright, next up we have Brown Paladin. We start with our Zabu, which is beautiful to see. We love to see the Zabu when we don't have most or any of our 4 costs in hand. And so Galacta, Gwynpool, Iron Lad, all that much cheaper. And then we get the Galacta as well. We could go Psylocke, but we don't really need to. So I think I'm going to save it. Is there a reason to save it? I don't know. We're going to go ahead and skip. And then we'll do Galacta. It looks like Galacta into Kiln, honestly. So Galacta into Gwynpool in Kiln as well. On 4. We wouldn't get the bonus from Galacta on that turn, but I think that's okay. The only thing that they've led with is a Meek. Whoa, they get a Malekith, which is beautiful for them. A lot of discard decks actually want that. Oof, awful. Now, I do kind of wish we would have played Psylocke to give us a better chance of hitting Brood multiple times, Scarlet Spider multiple times, but it's okay. It is what it is. What if we were to, I don't know, we go Gwynpool into Murder World, and then we have the Nocturne that can move into Kiln, so I think we're okay there. Whoa, it's stacked onto the 2 good cards we needed on anyways. I kind of want to snap into this. I'm just double checking again that this is a real person. If we snap, do they leave? Possibly. They do have Hellcow down. They pulled with Malekith. Possible they leave, but also possible that they don't. Snap into it. We have the massive Scarlet Spider that's going to come in at a gazillion power here. And then, how do we finish off the remainder? We have a couple of cheeky ways, like Brood becomes 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 21 power in the right lane. Massive. It's huge. Let's go ahead and lock it in, see if they stay. They do stick it out. Let's see what they played over here. Professor X. Oh my goodness. I'm not what I was expecting by any means, but they definitely have a cook going on here. I don't know if it's a good cook or not, but it is a cook for sure. Let's go Brood, 21 power here, and then we can't go with the Iron Lad into this lane to try to pull for like the Captain Marvel. That's fine. It's honestly fine. And then we'll activate after. It goes here. Also fine. Or do we do it beforehand and maybe take the spot of one of the Broodlings? Because this will be more raw power in the right lane than a Broodling. Nah, it's fine. We'll go ahead and do this. Make sure that it's activated though. and then lock it in. I can't see how they stay here. I feel like they have to retreat. They stay. Scarlet Spider does go to the right lane. Now, if they have a Shang-Chi, MODOK, okay. Meek scales pretty dramatically.
I am reborn.
Then Blade. Then Hellcow. Big. So Meek is scaling dramatically. Morbius. Oh my goodness. And so they do beat us in the Professor X lane. But we're able to lock down Murder World heavily. And then we have the restricted location of Kiln. And we could have gotten the 12 here and just went with 7. Would have been more power overall. But since they couldn't play here, I figured I might as well give a shot to get a little bit more power into Murder World. We'll take the 4. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Lobster. The first location, Lake Hellas. We start with our Zabu in our opening hand, which is beautiful to see. And then maybe we draw into Iron Lad, into Galacta. We do have Gwynpool for 4. Galacta, oh my goodness, what a beautiful draw. Now, I've been having a lot of retreats, and so I'm going to play this one not snapping as aggressively, because I do want them to stick it out more often than not. Let's go with... I'm going to go Galacta into mid. Next turn is going to be Gwynpool. And then we can go Gwynpool, what, over to the left? And a lot of these cards are huge if they get buffed enough. And so we could also go Gwynpool into Clintar and just assume that they don't have Shadow King. That opens up a little bit more flexibility for our plays and where we go. But I'm going to go Gwynpool to the left. That opens up the door for Brood into Clintar, and then we can do something additional there if we need to. No, Nocturne is the only card there that doesn't really get a benefit from being buffed. Unfortunately. Let's go Nocturne over to the right, and then we'll also go or follow it up with a Psylocke for giggles. That allows us to maneuver the Nocturne. Probably here, I'd imagine. It's either that or we go Scarlet Spider. Plus the Psylocke. Yeah. Let's do that, because then we can have the surprise of the 10 power Nocturne. So let's go Scarlet Spider. Let's go Psylocke. And then it's probably... I'm going to go Psylocke into mid. And then it's probably a Brood plus Nocturne final turn. But we'll see. So the double 10s here, they get a free Scar. This is 5, 10, 15. It brings it up to 20-esque, 20 and then some change. I'm not sure we win this one, especially if they have Scar and another 10 cost and another 10 power. It becomes very, very tricky, very tough to win it. We're going to give it a shot. 15 power in the right lane, 10 in mid is not anything to scoff at by any means. And so we're going to go ahead and lock it in, hope for the best, see what happens. Whoa, that is a full stack left. Crazy. They did have Shadow King. The Vulture, Vulture moving over into mid does give them that 11 power, and then Scar scales twice. The Scarlet Spider actually wins the left lane for us by copying and duplicating over there, guaranteed. And so we have the lead over there. We have the lead in the right. They take mid with their massive Vulture, but we are able to hold down the game. Now, had they went Scar into Clintar instead, it's kind of a tough read because this lane is relatively weak for us and for them. I'm glad that they positioned it that way, but we will take the 2. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Skyrex, the first location miniaturized lab. We start with Zabu, which is such a beautiful start for this deck. We have Psylocke, so if we had a 4 cost in hand, we could play it on 3, but we don't. I'm still going to go ahead and get rid of the Psylocke. The main reason being, if we get a Gwynpool, we want to better the chances that it hits Mr. Sinister, Brood, Sebastian Shaw, Scarlet Spider, those high impact cards instead. The copycat stole, I'm just now seeing it. It stole Iron Man, which is massive. Absolutely massive. Let's go Gwynpool into Kiln. And then we'll see. So they could have, I'm assuming it's Mr. Negative. Galacta. Ooh, interesting.
Opponent snapped.
I think we go Scarlet Spider. And then we can always reinforce it with a Captain Marvel. I want to save this Iron Man as like a surprise. They snapped. We're going to snap right back. I'm feeling confident enough. They could have a magic. And if so, then we want to probably prioritize Nocturne next turn to turn off Kiln. Because that's the only thing I can see happening. Whoa, big Brood. Okay. A little Brood of you, but I get it. With the Iron Man, I don't see it being a Silver Surfer, but maybe it is. Okay. I still want to save this Captain Marvel as a surprise. Let's go Nocturne and Mr. Sinister here. We'll have the Scarlet Spider, which we can control where he goes. Iron Lad, they're digging. Ooh, Patriot. Big, okay. They could get a follow-up Patriot. Do they have an Ultron? Interesting. A little bit scary, but interesting for sure. What if we went Nocturne? That brings us up to 17 plus 5. They go another Patriot. Or if they go Ultron. Ultron is 2, 4. It brings them up to 23. Ooh, this wouldn't win this lane. This would be what? 4, 8, 16, 7, 8, 9, 14. I almost think we're going left instead of right. We're full committing to the left lane and mid. We're going to give up on Kiln. It's a gut read, but it's the read we're going with. Just in case they hit us with an Ultron. Our Sinister. No! Wait. Maybe that's okay. I don't know. We could have won the right lane. But can we win left? Because now it's double Captain Marvel. Oh no.
I am Iron Man.
Second back-to-back bad read. 5. All right, next up we have Jindo. The first location is Our Lady of Saints, which will turn into a symbiote if we tap it out, which is honestly not awful for our deck, unless we think they have a Shadow King. And then into Eternal's Arc, which is also kind of interesting. We get to go with an interesting Gwynpool into Galacta on a 3 and then 4. We almost didn't get to do that. They lose their Galacta, and I'm going to snap into it. Now, I think... Oh, and we steal their Brood? That is so Brood of us. And I'm not... I'm not upset at all. Let's go Gwynpool into Galacta to the right. Let's see what we buff up. We have 2 Broods that can get hit. Oh my goodness. The 9 power Broodlings that are going to go up to 12 power Broodlings is crazy strong. Let's go Galacta. 8 power Galacta is nothing to scoff at either. I know that we can absolutely handle the left lane. They don't have a Brood. It's at the bottom. So unless they shuffled their deck, they won't be able to get their Brood. Their copycat stole our Scarlet Spider. Okay. And how do we want to do this one? I kind of want to go pretty big with like a copycat. It turns into a symbiote, but that's that's fine. Yep, let's go ahead and do this. They don't have their Galacta. Their Galacta is gone. And so I'm going to go heavy in the left lane. It does turn into a symbiote, so hopefully they don't have a Shadow King. If they do, I'll cry. No, no, they don't. Oh, no. We have a massive 38 power, 14 power, and we're going to go ahead and take the 2-cube retreat. And that is where we're going to go ahead and end the video. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. And thank you again for Marvel Contest of Champions for sponsoring this video. This has been TLSG. Later, guys.